Hi, I'm happy that all of you came tonight. Today there is a question. Okay, I just start kind of in the middle. By the way, regarding enlightenment, to be honest, when I started my practice and did my first retreat with you in Pan, all I wanted is to learn not to fall asleep with my practice. No idea about enlightenment. No idea that one can actually be with the breath and leave the body and the breath. Mind-blowing. So regarding enlightenment, even with the years now of practice and thousands of Dhamma talks, I still don't see myself as the type who will get enlightened. I'm happy just to navigate through life without killing people, with my anger and aversions. I heard in one of the talks of the Ajahns that one should practice and have enlightenment in mind. I take my practice one day at a time, and the idea that we take our mind when we die, beyond this material world, is a big motivator for me to keep uplifting my mind. The story you shared about giving a chance by your teacher to go toward that enlightened state, and you were surprised that you didn't want it at that moment, is quite interesting. So my question, should we sit and practice aiming for the goal of enlightenment, or just practice and sit aiming not to harm ourselves and others with our mind? I'm sold with enlightenment, but I feel like I need eons of practice before I can reach that state. But I believe in miracles too, and unicorns. All right. Should we sit and practice aiming for the goal of enlightenment, or just practice and sit aiming not to harm ourselves and others with our mind? That's an interesting topic, actually, and really important. It's in alignment with a talk I had with another student today about precisely that, your motivation for the practice, and what it is that goes through your mind before you actually sit down and do the work. Every time before I sit down and do my practice, I ask myself what I'm doing here. Every time. It's not that one time I would come to the conclusion, okay, all right, that's what I'm doing, so now I don't need to remind myself anymore. I think a lot of people tend to dwell with a lot of abstracts, with a lot of fantasies, such as enlightenment, such as higher powers, or deep states of meditative absorption or something like that. And you think, this is what I want, but you don't really know what it is, right? You don't know what enlightenment is, you don't know what jhanas are, you don't know what all these things are, and yet you kind of feel like, I want that, and you sit down and you think you're practicing for that. Well, let's be completely honest, because honesty is the base of the practice. What do you really want? You. What do you really want when you sit down and practice? What is it that really moves you? Forget the books, forget the texts, forget what you should, quote unquote, be feeling and thinking before you enter the practice. In fact, notice what you are feeling and thinking, not what you should be feeling or thinking. Well, the Ajahns, the teachers, they might say this or that, it is skillful to keep your mind on kindness as you practice, and compassion. It is skillful to keep your mind on enlightenment, etc. And yes, That might be true for some students at some times. And it might be an advice that is very skillful to give to somebody that sits in front of you and asks, where should I put my mind before I practice? What is it that is skillful for me? And because your teacher really knows you and you have a very intimate connection with your teacher, the teacher can then guide your mind. You know what? I think it would be skillful for you to practice a bit more kindness. It would be like giving the advice in a book, we should all eat antibiotics. Or I heard a doctor say it is good to eat antibiotics. Okay, that might have been true in that particular case. But is it really true for you right now as you sit down? So before we enter the realm of shoulds and should nots, adapting some sort of foreign type of morality because we have some hopes and fears in our mind without fully understanding what we are doing right now on our own level, can quickly lead to a counterfeit kind of practice. You just do it for the culture. You do it to belong. You do it to feel like, oh, here in this group I'm quite at home. That kind of thing resonates with me, and you go to your Dharma center and you wear red clothes like the monks and nuns that are there. And you wrap them nicely around your shoulders because that's what we do. And then you adapt their ideas and their ideologies, and then you feel like you're part of something, and it feels good. But you're still not seeing yourself. And the whole practice is about that, to really honestly look at yourself. You don't want to end up practicing something and like putting that stuff, that different set of clothes on that are nice and exotic and new and fascinating, no doubt. But maybe not your clothes. And maybe that's the reason why it takes so many people so long to actually get some results. Shouldn't take that long. If people were to sit down and look at themselves just honestly, what do I want? Why do I cross my legs? Why do I put my spine into an upright posture and watch my breath? What the heck am I doing? What for? What's the purpose of this? For me. What are my hopes, my fears, my expectations? What are you hoping for? Why are you doing this? You know, and so many people, they sit down and they do their practice for years, and then they get this feeling of having to do their practice. Oh, sorry, I don't have time tonight because I still need to do my practice. And it becomes this thing. I need to do my practice. And you get very identified with that, and it becomes this persona around this idea of, oh, I must do my practice, I need to do my practice. I need to be a good boy. Totally missing the point. We can do that for years, you know, fooling ourselves, telling ourselves those nice, sweet little lies that feel so comfortable, so good. I'm doing this because it's really good. What I'm doing is really good. Yes? Really? Is it? How did you come to that conclusion that it is really good? Have you been told that it is really good and you're just repeating it? Because it says in this spiritual book that meditation is really good. And so then I've read that book, and so now I feel like what I'm doing is really good, so I can feel good about myself. Not that there is anything wrong with that, but it is very aimless in some way. It's not at all about you. And yet it is you that sits there. Maybe it's about a nice ideology, not about you. And so the first thing I do before I sit is I ask myself, what on earth am I doing here? And then I have to look at the blank stare of my mind, going like, hold on a second, what was I doing again? And then the cultural stuff comes up. The conditioning shows itself. Oh yeah, I'm doing meditation because I want to reach enlightenment. Hold on a second, I tell myself. I have no idea what enlightenment is, so how do I know I want to reach it? All right, okay, let's tone it down a little bit. What do I want now? Let's say this is the last thing I do. Last thing I do today in my life is this meditation session. Would I still do it? A lot of people, surprisingly, they would say, not really. I'd go onto the phone and call my family and friends and tell them I love them, instead of sitting here quietly, right? You need that kind of honesty with yourself. We like to tell ourselves like, woo, meditation is the most important thing in life. It's the deepest stuff that you can ever do, and you get to know yourself and you get enlightened, and yet we would abandon it in a heartbeat for something that's more available, fast, cheap, easy. The talk that I had with the other student today was about precisely that, you know. He, after a while of questions going back and forth, he finally came to the point of, he's a very honest person. It's beautiful to work with people who are so honest. It's just so nice, you know. They're not holding back at all. They're not trying to make nice stories. But he caught himself like almost making kind of a nice story. And he said, you know, I actually feel like I want to lie down and put a hot pack on my stomach and just relax after hard days of work. I just don't want to meditate. And it took him a few attempts to actually put that into words. Because he told me that, the guy who is supposed to introduce him to meditation practice. This is how tricky this stuff is. Would I dare to tell my teacher, you know, I actually don't want to meditate? Maybe not. But that's where you have the real chance. You come down to that level of honesty. Then we're talking. Now the masks, they came off. So now we're talking. You say, oh, I hate doing my meditation. You know, I'm so tired from work. I just hate doing it. Stop bullshitting yourself. Say it as it is. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to improve myself. It feels so weird, you know. Like in a society where it is proper to say, I want to improve myself. And actually saying the truth, no, I don't want to. Because if you wanted to, you'd be doing it. We all do what we want to do, right? So many people tell me, yeah, I really want to meditate, I just don't have the time. That's a bullshit story. Big bullshit story. Very common. I just don't have time. Oh, I'm so busy. So busy every night. I feel like, oh, I have so much regret. Just didn't do my meditation again today. It's just say it straight. I just don't want to do it. It's a burden to me. But there's something in you that does want to do it, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Something in you pulls you to this stuff. Now the question is, what is that for you? For you. Not what is it that it should be. Like your higher self is calling you or something. But what is it that you really are looking for? And I honestly encourage you to find that out. Because if you don't find that out, I guarantee you will get lost in this game. And it's a very common game. I should do my practice, but I didn't do it. That'll happen to you. I really should do it. Oh man, I really should do it. Just admit it to yourself. You don't want to. That gives you the chance then to start fresh, to have an honest relationship with meditation. And reevaluate. Oh, okay, why am I sitting here now? Me, Tobi. Sitting here now, closing my eyes. And after a while of research, I usually come to this genuine insight that I really want to be happy. But it means something. It's not just something I tell myself at the beginning of the practice, because that's the step of the practice. May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering. Very nice, good boy. You said your lines, But it's genuine. It does feel that. You don't have to say the words. I know that's why I'm sitting here. Now, of course, I have to ask myself, what does it mean, happiness, to me? Boy. What is happiness to me? What is it to you? Start with something really humble. When was the last time in your life that you felt really happy? You remember it? What was the quality of that feeling? Was it open? Was it spacious? Was it feeling like you're free? Was it the coming to an end of a problem that you've had? What was it? Do you want to feel that again? Yeah, you do, right? What if meditation could help you to feel that a bit more in your life? Would it be more interesting now? To me it would be, yes. Oh wow, if I could feel that feeling that I felt, that felt so open, so spacious, so nice. If I could feel that again, that would be nice. If I could feel that a bit more often, that would be great. Now I wonder, will meditation help me to get there? And yes, I've done the research. I know it will get me there. This is one aspect of my motivation. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. And the other aspect is improving it, taking it to the next level. Think of the happiness again that you've had that was really nice, spacious and open and free. What if you could take that to the next level? And even higher. How far could you take it? And what would that do to your life? If you just had a bit more of it. And you would be deepening it every day, cultivating it. Now you get the idea of meditation practice for yourself. That's what I'm doing here. I'm sitting down and I'm entering deeper states of happiness. That's really attractive. And why would I tell myself, I have no time for that? It would not occur to me, having seen it so clearly what it does. It's like you have a little button that you can push and you feel great. Why would you not push it? Would you say, I have no time to push that button today? If that button would improve every aspect of your life, it would make your relationships better. It would make, in general, just sense pleasures, it would make them better. It would make your feeling better. It would make everything you know better. Would you not push the button? Right? And you'd probably push it often. Every time you push it, it's getting better. That's what meditation is. That's your button. You already have it. Why would you not push it? And then also what it does, it helps you to release your pain, your burden, your suffering, all of the old stuff that we carry around, the unresolved heaviness that's around us. What if you could let that go? What if you could just drop it? All your problems. All it takes is a push of a button again. That's what meditation does for you. And real happiness, the ascension of a happy state, is that it is the release of stress, the release of suffering, the release of old pain. The more you let go, the more you release, the happier you'll be, the better you feel with yourself. Now that is what it is for me. But you have to start with your own kind of experience. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to see what it is for you. And it might not be that. It might not be this kind of thing that I just said. It's just the conclusion I came to. Let's take Coney's idea, that idea that she said about the sitting with the Ajahn that told the students to sit or keep enlightenment in mind or something like that. There is a reason for that, keeping enlightenment in mind. And it will really work well for some people to do that. And this is very good advice for them. And it probably really resonates with people from a culture where enlightenment is very accepted and a common, normal thing. Everyone has faith in it, very strong faith. But for a lot of people, that's not the case. Like for me, for example, enlightenment is more like a foreign concept. It's that Eastern thing. Enlightenment, right? What does that really mean? I juggle it around in my head, and there is a lot of descriptions and definitions and talks on it and all that kind of stuff. But what does it mean for me personally? I don't know. So it's not really relevant at the beginning of my own practice to contemplate enlightenment, to think I want to be enlightened. For me, it's much more easy to approach it from the route of, it would be nice to be a bit more free from suffering. Because once you are more free from suffering and more happy, and this is the other side of the question Coney mentions, not to harm myself and others, that might work for her, this approach to think of, okay, I don't want to harm myself or others. For me, that wouldn't work. For me, it works much better if I formulate it in a positive way. For example, the idea of benefiting myself and others with that. My mind functions more in that direction. So if I hear, don't harm, I feel aversion to that statement. It's a subtle aversion. I don't like it. I feel like, Tobi, don't harm others. I feel like, oh shit, I'm in prison. I'm in this moral kind of prison. And in front of me there's this teacher with a ruler, a big ruler, and he says, Tobi, don't. I immediately feel uncomfortable. But if someone tells me exactly, Tobi, go over there, it's nice, I feel much more like, okay, I want to go there. And so for some people, this do not do this, thou shall not approach really works. For others, it more works like, okay, do this and it will help you. Do this and things will get better for yourself, for others. And I really like that idea, yes, to sit down and meditate. And that's one of the motivating factors too for me. It is just the pure joy. And if I make myself a better maybe I used that word just now, if I make myself a better product, people can enjoy me more. If I'm a grumpy jerk and I'm walking around and I'm really not fun to be with, and I'm angry and I'm complaining and I'm just really misbehaving badly all the time, like I'll be pretty much alone and nobody wants to hang out with me because people do not receive benefit. Maybe other grumpy jerks, they'll receive the benefit of feeling like part of a group, part of something greater. Yeah. So then, this is common. But I know if I'm a loving and a kind and understanding person, then people benefit, and this makes me happy. It genuinely does give me happiness. It's nice to be useful to myself and to others. It is nice to lift myself up. And at the end of the day to see, oh wow, today I have done the next step. I've moved forward. That feels good, and helping others to move forward feels great, Just petting a cat, it's a nice thing. It makes the cat happy. You can see the cat is really happy. He really enjoys it. And that makes people happy too. That's why they like petting cats. Puts you in a state where you're benefiting someone and you see the benefit in the face of the cat, and it makes you happy. You feel useful. You feel good. Right? So that might be a very good motivation. What I would do from Coney's question, I just read it one more time. It's the last few words. I remember there was a should. So my question, should we sit and practice aiming for the goal of enlightenment, or just practice and sit aiming not to harm ourselves and others with our mind? There's another thing she says, I'm sold with enlightenment, but I feel like I need eons of practice before I can reach that state. And that's a classic story that we tell ourselves that has zero to do with reality. It's a nice story. You look up at people who are seemingly so far away from you, and it's maybe an excuse of the mind that doesn't want to enter that type of commitment that these teachers entered. Like say, we know teachers who sat with tigers. We know teachers who sat alone in the jungle, far, far from any village, far from any medical help or something. If something goes wrong, they're on their own. And they're alone. Imagine that, like being completely on your own. No health insurance, no comfort, no nothing. You need to find your food, you need to, it's just really tough. And so these are the enlightened masters, we say. And then I look at myself, I like comfort, I like to be at ease, I like to eat 2 times, 3 times per day, I like to go to the gym, I like my car. And then it feels almost like, I should not like those things because it's not enlightenment stuff. It's not, I should be sitting with tigers, I should be in the jungle, I should be doing the tough work, and then I'm not ready for that. And so we tell ourselves that sweet story of, enlightenment is far, far away. It's almost like a good night story for your mind. It just puts it right to sleep. Question is, what do you really want to say with that sentence? And that's exactly what I was talking about when I was telling you the story about my teacher confronting me with, I could introduce you and give you initiation to the energies that lead you right straight to enlightenment. Ready? You want to do it now? And I was like, maybe we can do it like next week or something like that, or soon, And that surprised me. And it just confronted me with lots of my bullshit that I've been telling myself, right? Like, I want to be enlightened, I want to be enlightened. Well, first of all, I don't know what it is. And second of all, I don't want to make the commitment that it takes to get there. But I want to make a commitment that brings me towards that. Like, for me, it's more about evolution. Think about it like that. I'm thinking about growing. I don't think of an end goal. That's what I want. More like, okay, how can I evolve today? And I know that there is supposed to be some point where the evolution reaches its pinnacle. But it feels to me like it's so abstract, it's so far in thought, that it is not relevant to this moment now. What is relevant to this moment is now, okay, where is there tension in the body? Where is there tension in my mind? Where is there a type of dishonesty with myself? Can I release that right now? Yes. Does it feel good? Yes. Do I feel better right now? Oh yes, I feel better right now. That's great. Good direction. Keep going in that direction. That's what it is like for me. This is not the legit, ultimate way. It's an example for you guys to take to heart and then find what that is for you. That's just the idea. You're not supposed to think, okay, Tobi said this kind of thing, so maybe I should then feel like this, or should think like this. I'm pointing to you, asking yourselves good questions. Why do you do this? You might be numbing yourself with spiritual practice, like massively numbing yourself. Chanting, doing all kinds of things like prayers, in foreign languages, chanting mantras, belonging to this massive group of people who are always meeting and doing these rituals and things. And it's really exciting and fascinating, but it really numbs you to your own truth. But before you can dive into the ultimate truth, you need to be okay with your own truth. Like who you really are. Like you need to get to know yourself. Your darkness and your light. Your strengths and your weaknesses. And then learn to be okay with them, work with them. And now, in this moment, always now. Not in general or in this week or something. Just now. What is it that you need to do now to evolve? Just that task, if I gave you that task for next week, this moment, look at yourself. How can you evolve now? It'll puzzle you. It'll genuinely puzzle you. You'll be sitting in the car, red traffic light. How can I evolve now? It's like, evolve? What would that mean right now? What state am I in right now? How do I bring that to the next level? What is the next level? Who could I be right now and who am I right now? Becomes super interesting. Beware of following this I should kind of thing. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel right somehow. At least to me. I'm warning myself. Tobi, beware of following the should thing. If you want to follow it, follow it. It will teach you an important lesson at some point. Okay, that's all that comes to mind for today. I hope it was somehow helpful, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend.